be hanging out. Sound good?
Yeah, should we get started?
I can begin the introductions if you like.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, we've got JJJJJ up here. He handles a lot of our social media, a lot of our content media, videos, whatnot. Some of our secret stuff that I can't say, but he's awesome. And we have Andrew Crypto AS up here, who a lot of you are probably familiar with. He manages a lot of our biz dev and partnerships and stuff like that. And then we have KB, who does a lot of our operations and is, a lot of community management along with Crypto AS. And we have the man of the hour here, our lead strategist, who kind of heads off a lot of the stuff we do on Reaper, tess3rac7. He has been tackling the fBEETS bribes since day one, just about, and kind of had to, keep iterating and growing along with the fBEETS, growth. So I'm sure he has a lot to say on it, and I'll let everybody continue on and introduce themselves, and I'll just be hanging out to add clarification or maybe some witty, comments when necessary. But you want to hit it, Jay or Tess, whichever one of you would prefer to kick it off.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything you wanted to say first, Jay, or should I just go straight into it?
I don't really have anything to say. I'm just here to make sure this gets recorded, so go ahead.
Is it recording? Has it started?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we got Craig in the chat recording everything for us.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so I guess we can just dive into it. Thanks everybody for coming. As Justin mentioned, I work on strategies on Reaper and been doing some work around fBEETS and bribes and basically making sure that people who are entrusting us with their fBEETS are getting the best deal that they can. So I thought it would be nice to just talk through that process a little bit with all of you, shed some light on what exactly we do, what decisions we make, how we make those decisions, and then mostly just open up the stage for any questions, which I guess would be the vast majority of this. So I'll probably just spend like a few minutes talking about maybe a little bit about like what happens with the voting, how it came about, then a little bit about what we do specifically with our fBEETS script, and then I'll just open it up for questions and we'll go from there. So for those of you who might not have been following this so closely, up until late 2021, even going into early Jan, the emissions for the Beethoven MasterChef were decided mostly by like a committee, like a liquidity committee. And then in early Jan, I believe is when this happened, is that they put this up for a vote that, hey, we would like to make sure that fBEETS holders are getting more utility for holding their fBEETS. So we're going to introduce this gauge voting system where 30% of all the emissions within the MasterChef can be decided on by all the fBEETS holders. And you can go look at that proposal in their snapshot. It seemed like it was pretty much like 100% yes. So then, we started with this new era of votes, right? So the first round was early Jan, and Beethoven follows like 2-week cycles. So every 2 weeks, there's a snapshot and an ensuing vote. And then based on the results of the vote, the emissions for the next 2 weeks are decided. So yeah, initially it was just voting, right? I think it might have actually been Jeffrey, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, who maybe made a tweet that, hey guys, you know that you can like bribe these people or something like that if you want them to vote for your particular pool. Um, so then we sort of entered this V2 era of fBEETS voting, where now we have some integrations with Votehoven that manages a lot of the bribes. And there's also this website beetswars.live that keeps track of a lot of the bribe offers, and you can kind of go and see before each vote what each pool would pay you. So sometimes it's like a flat bribe, like we're just offering, 20,000 in some ERC token, like USDC, their own token, or anything else. And it would just get split among all of the voters. But then you also have like uncapped bribes where, for each percentage of the vote that our pool gets, we're going to pay out this amount, right? So if the amount is, let's just say like 5,000, and if they get like 5% of the votes, then that's 25,000 that gets distributed among all of the voters. So today we find ourselves in this almost like this bribe-based game. I don't want to call it a war because I think it's more fun than war-like and interesting, honestly. Um, so as an fBEETS holder, you are probably like a big believer in Beethoven and in all the great stuff they do, and you want to make sure that you're getting the most out of your fBEETS. So that maybe not only that not just entails now like finding a good way to auto compound them, which Reaper has been fortunate to provide that solution to a lot of you who are here and many more who are maybe not here. But now it's also about how can I make sure that I'm participating in this bribe-related system, right? To make sure that either I'm getting the best bribes or that I'm voting for the pools that I'm really bullish on, or some combination thereof. So that's kind of where we're at with the whole system. I did skip over some details, and if there's any questions, we can go over them. So maybe I'll just spend like the next few minutes talking about what we've been doing for our fBEET script. So we basically accumulate all the voting power of our fBEET script, and we vote for you, right? So if you are in our fBEET script, we basically take away all of that sort of manual labor and that mental effort and the time and the energy that you would have to put in to keep up with all the bribes, to keep up with the voting. Right? So wanted to clarify that, like, we are basically acting, getting the maximum amount of bribes. People can't go vote independently with their fBEETS and then come bring their fBEETS into our crypt and then be entitled to a share of the bribes to ensure that this double dipping, quote unquote, doesn't happen. We have to lock the crypt for new deposits, right? So we will likely do that tonight in a few hours. And then once the snapshot gets taken and the votes are in and the bribes have been paid and all the bribes have been recompounded into more fBEETS, at that point we will reopen the crypt, which will happen maybe sometime early next week. And if you've stuck around in our Discord for maybe even just the last 2 weeks, you've kind of see this whole process play out, where all of this was announced. And I think last vote we received something like 85,000 US dollars equivalent in bribes, and we compounded them to like almost like 130, 135, something like that, more fBEETS, and all of those were distributed to the crypt shareholders. So yeah, that's all I have. I guess that was a lot. But any questions or anything else that anybody else wants to add? Am I just here by myself? Jake, are you around?
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're here? Okay.
I
Can
kinda
Yeah,
like with the fBEETS one, like I was doing the voting manually
Mhm.
a little bit, but honestly, I just realized once we started doing the FB ones, it was just so much more value for money because I'm not opposed to manually compounding, and in some instances, if Reaper Palm wasn't so security focused and safe, I probably would be doing the manual compounding version of it and doing it. But honestly, you just get so much more for your money with the crypt that we've done now. You're not losing your withdrawal fee by taking it out and then getting your vote and then putting it back in. So you're winning on that. And then also like we're doing all the hard work for you.
Yeah,
We're literally
exactly.
selling all the fBEETS, selling all the rewards, putting it back into fBEETS, and you're not losing out. You're getting those taxable events with claiming that compounding throughout the 2 weeks that you're in there. And I mean, if you guys have any, like, it's an open discussion. If you ever feel like we can put it to a community vote who you want to vote for, I'm sure we could organize something like that as well. What do you think, Tess?
Yeah. I think kind of like coming from me, like I straight up was not making any money off these bribes, and I have a lot of Beethoven tokens just because like I did not have time to keep up with it. I didn't even have time to vote because I have all my voting power on a separate computer, and I'm always working on kind of my main machine.
We
So,
missed the first 2 fBEETS votes as Bite Masons, everybody. We were just so busy. The first 2 weeks, we just fucking dropped the ball on it as a team. So
yeah,
it was tough
yeah,
because we had Oath in there as well, and we all wanted to vote for Oath. We all just
And like
missed it.
it takes time, right? Like we have had to go through 2 or 3 iterations of just smart contracts to make sure that first off we're able to delegate properly, because the crypt itself can't vote, right? Like it needs to delegate to another account that can actually vote, and then to make sure that that delegation gets registered properly in all the right systems, whether that's like snapshots on-chain contracts or snapshots subgraph registry, and then finally to make sure that our contract is smart enough to be able to handle a wide variety of bribe tokens, right? Because bribe tokens can literally be anything, right? Like what did we see in the last round? We saw Ring, we saw Deus, we saw VE Deus, we saw Liquid Driver, right? Like
Mm.
it definitely takes time to come up with a system that can scale and handle the level of the capital that's in that crypt. So I assure you that we were not sleeping behind the wheel. We were just trying to come up with a good system that works.
Just one thing
yeah,
that I thought was interesting as well, just on this last bribe that we were looking at when you were trying to implement the selling for those tokens, we had a look at it, and we even switched to Firebird as an aggregator. I'm not sure if you did that, but as we were checking what the value was for selling the fBEETS, we were getting a better rate on that. So we're doing
Yeah.
even the back end stuff of figuring out where we're getting the best rates for selling the bribes. And we
Yeah.
check SpookySwap, Beats, and if you guys aren't using it, but Firebird Finance, I'll place that in the AMA section.
Yeah.
It's really good value for
And I think
trades.
like this will also kind of push teams to think a little bit harder about what they're using for bribes. So now that we have like, you know, a collective being all the people in the crypt seeking out, you know, maximum profit, uh, you know, maybe we'll see more premium assets being offered as bribes like USDC or FTM instead of necessarily coins that aren't quite as liquid, just because of the lower price impact. And maybe eventually we'll be able to broker, you know, more desirable deals as kind of an entity on your behalf. So it opens up, you know, when you collectivize and when you get together capital like this, it opens up a lot of opportunity that now we're kind of poised to seize as a community. And it is like, you know, you talk about the tax efficiency. Again, we're not tax pros, so definitely talk to yours. But you know, all of this is happening underlying. So all of this you can think of like is being managed for you, and all you have is that special vault token that's going to keep increasing in value. So it really is like I can't think of a better option than using our crypt. And you know, I'm really proud of the work tess3rac7 and the team have done making this what it is, because it has been like a lot of work and a lot of iteration, trying to ensure we can cover all of the edge cases. Yes. And it's also gangster.
What about tokens with
Yeah.
sales tax? Would that be possible? Somebody, it's DoFox the poi rate.
Tokens with sales tax?
Yeah, could you
Why?
expand on that? Someone in the AMA questions is asking that.
I mean, tokens with sales tax, like that's like almost every other shitcoin. That's just like a burn on transfer, you know? Or like, I mean, you're getting sales tax everywhere. Like, you get a sales tax kind of when you exchange on an NFT exchange. They're charging you a fee. A tax is just a fee. It's just the government's fee, so they call it a tax because, you know, they're special. But yeah, there are taxes all over the place, home dog. Oh, you can't use tokens with sales tax in Beethoven. That's also true. That will mess up the accounting. But yeah, I think probably it's time to open up for questions then. My food delivery just got canceled, so I have depression now. But I'll, I'll give it over to you.
That's a serious problem.
Yeah.
So somebody asked, what's the average return from a single round of voting?
Um,
The last
I
one was
remember.
$85,000.
So to get just a little bit technical, the receipt token that you get when you deposit into the crypt, the RF token, it experiences growth by increasing ratios, right? So the ratio of the RF fBEETS to the fBEETS, that ratio increases. Typically, you would see that ratio go up by like, you know, 1 basis point over a couple of days, say. So like 0.01 or 0.001. The day that the last round bribes were paid out, it jumped from 1.58 to like 1.6 something, 1.61 in a single transaction. So I haven't worked out the exact ROI on that, but I think loosely I can say that a couple weeks worth of growth was experienced in a single transaction, so a single round of voting. So in addition to the compounding that we do anyways for you, you are also getting like sort of like a dual reward almost, if not more than equal at least.
Yeah, and like to give you some perspective, like a point like 0.03% jump is absolutely massive. Like
Mm-hmm.
that would be depending on, your principal, that's like I mean whatever percent it went up. So 0.03 that's like maybe a little over 1% increase. Is that way off?
I'm gonna go look at the announcement that I made. So it went from 1.5836 to 1.61. So that would be like two-ish, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, honestly, that's like,
Yeah.
every other week getting that much is honestly a game changer.
Filthy.
Like I can't think of a better place to take advantage of like Beats and the Beethoven platform in general. And
Disgusting.
yeah, it is pretty disgusting. And I think like you know, ensuring we can keep that going, I think is going to be a big part of our thought processes going forward. Because I think a lot of the people putting up like percents right now aren't necessarily expecting someone as massive as us. I mean, putting it up per percent, like an unbound, like we'll pay any amount, is kind of insane in general. And I'm almost wondering, like, do we need to get even down the road, keep iterating on this and getting more granular with how we separate our voting power and how we like spend these votes? Is that even possible with the current delegation scheme, Tess?
Say that again. What exactly is
Like
possible?
with how we currently delegate things, are we
Yeah.
able to vote for more than one
Could we delegate a
guy?
portion of the fBEETS to, like, if we had three wallets or three people, and we could delegate like
I
however
think
many
even
there
with
is?
just the one, you can split the votes up among several
Yeah,
pools.
from what I know, at least when I looked at the interface of the snapshot registry, there doesn't seem to be
Yeah,
a way to partially delegate. However, when you vote, um,
You
your
can add a
votes basically
percentage.
get weighted among all the different
yeah,
pools that you cast a vote
yeah,
for. So, for instance, if the delegate only votes for one pool, then 100% of the votes go there. But if the delegate
yeah,
assigns like 3 votes to one pool and 1 vote to the second pool, then 75% of the voting power goes to the first and 25% of the voting power goes to the second. So we can
okay,
definitely, like, it's pretty much like the sky's the limit, right? When it comes to what play we can implement, as long as it's in
yeah,
the best interest of all our shareholders, right? Because it's like
yeah,
we owe this to them, so we would just act in whatever way we can see would be best for them, for
yeah.
all of you. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, now that you mention it, we are like the actual delegated voter is an EOA,
Yes.
even though the entity receiving the funds is the actual crypt. So yeah, kind of like, what if eventually we own half the fBEETS or half the voting power? Because I'm sure there are a lot of fBEETS that aren't being voted with or are just idle, or a lot of beats in general that are just idle. So if we own like half, then that's like a really big player, especially if the success of this program kind of gives community voters more weight than even kind of protocol pools. Like right now, I believe we're voting on 30% of emissions or something like that. Um, and I guess, what are your thoughts, Tess, on voting for things that aren't just bribes? Um, like voting on regular policies. Should we give a lot of that power to our users and let oath holders vote on where we should place those votes? Because I know there were some treasury votes recently,
Mhm.
and there might be some policy votes in the future. Do you think that would be worthwhile looking into, or maybe even just polling people on Discord or similar? Um, and I'd be interested to hear if users want that. Because it does kind of remove like a level of objectivity that we're trying to achieve right now,
Yeah.
just with profit seeking, ensuring that everything is the same. But eventually, we'll be able to use this crypt to kind of steer policy toward, okay, what would be best for our users beyond just monetary bribes, and kind of give them a chance to use their voice and use the voice of our community to influence Beethoven's direction.
That would be my one pause, that wherever subjectivity gets injected, I just like to be very mindful. So
Yeah.
with the current approach, it's really easy, right? Like all we're doing is figuring out how each one of you who are our patrons, our customers essentially, can get the best return. And there's no opinions or philosophy that we have to exercise on our part, which makes us happy, makes you happy. If we were to ever leverage this, and remember, um, for all the other votes that go on, that don't necessarily overlap with the gauge votes, the crypt is not locked for deposits, right? If you really feel strongly about something, you're free to take out, go vote, come back.
Yeah, that's true.
But if we were to start doing that, then I think that's something we would have to think about very carefully, right? Like, do we create our own snapshot for the RF fBEETS where the crypt holders tell us how to vote, right?
Yeah.
I would be interested in removing the opinions from our layer as much as possible and sourcing that from our customers, our users.
Yeah. I would say, like, in theory, that's really cool. I think a lot of the people using the crypt aren't quite as interested in micromanaging
Mm-hmm.
Beethoven. I know, like, kind of the approach I take to governance is I invest in teams that I think are smart, and generally those people who are dealing with it every day would steer the protocol a lot better than I would. So I generally leave it up to them, and if they, ask me to throw my voting power behind something that they believe in, I'll generally just do that. So it could even be a way for us to align with Beethoven. But I guess again that kind of is, the good old boys club. So maybe something to just keep kicking down the road,
Yeah.
getting feedback on. It is tricky. Like anytime feelings get involved or opinions get involved, things get really tricky. So
I just
definitely
trust.
something to talk
I
about.
I trust the Beethoven guys wholeheartedly just because of the documentation and the level that they go into for their research. I don't know if anyone read their recent write up on their locking
Oh boy, that was
mechanism.
yeah.
That was that was such a not controversial, but I was reading to the Discord and what people were saying. But their write up was so well done, and the level of research they went into. It made I don't do locking, but after reading that, I was like, yeah, all right, I trust these guys. I'd lock my funds up with them. No,
Yeah.
I didn't do
I'll
any of it in
probably,
spirit or anything. I haven't done any
it,
locking yet, but I'm excited to with these guys.
yeah. Is there anything we can share about our reaction to the upcoming locking test?
um, I guess
Or should we just,
we can just say that we are working to ensure that um, the way that you can take advantage of our offerings today, whereby you entrust us with your fBEETS and we not only compound them, but we also vote and get you the maximum returns for that vote. We're trying to come up with a system, or I guess we've come a bit farther than trying to come up with a system um, to ensure that that mechanism can still go on even as the nature of fBEETS and votes change. Is that good enough?
Yeah, I think that's about the level of alpha we generally give.
Yeah.
Forgive us again for being so tight-lipped, everyone, but as like, ideas are easy to have, but implementing them is quite complex. So when you're talking about ideas in concrete terms, at that point, the actual end result might be a little different from what was communicated early on. So that's why we try to keep everything quiet and let the actual release be the exciting thing. So definitely look forward to our response to the fBEETS locking. We're excited for it, and we are fully ready to adapt and keep being the best place for your fBEETS, because I know we all want it. So it's just like us bothering Tess to implement all this, so I don't have to keep messing with governance. But
Hey, just
yeah,
one more thing I wanted to say, just on the fBEETS crypt. Something I'm not sure if anyone's aware of, but just when you get paid out these bribes, as soon as it hits your wallet, it's a taxable event. So you got, I don't know what the tax bracket or the tax law is in everyone's country, but technically that's like an income or a reward or an airdrop. But using the fBEETS crypt, that's not. You pull it out when you're ready with your whole stack. So just keep that in mind when you're voting and getting paid out bribes. Something like this can be useful in the long run if you're not looking to declare a tax event and just keep it compounding throughout.
yeah, it is. People underestimate the efficiency of vaults, definitely, and that's something we talk a lot about with our tax professionals, and I invite you all to talk about it with yours because we are not tax professionals, and don't get, there are so many jurisdictions and so many different schools of thought on this. Although legislation is kind of aligned with that KB in the recent months, which is really awesome. But yeah, definitely something to talk to your tax pro or your local knowledgeable accountant about. Boodaloo.
My bad.
But yeah, should we open the floor up for questions, you think?
I would be thrilled to do that. I just do allow requests from everyone, right? Jake?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, everybody, raise those hands.
Raise those hands now or die.
So just go in order,
All
right?
right.
We got one person.
Hello.
Take the ball. Oh my god.
Unmute yourself, please,
Hey everyone.
Please.
Oh.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, Limp.
Yep.
Come.
Hi. Hello, Limp.
How you
We'll
guys
let them
doing?
go first. Good, buddy.
Hey, my question is, does the returns from the bribe rewards factor into the displayed APY that you see the farms?
Unfortunately, not. Just because it's such like a one-time erratic spike event. I haven't been able to think of a good way to indicate that. However, every time that happens, if you come into our Discord, and there will probably be an announcement just talking about what the share price increase was and things like that. But as of right now, the APY that you see there does not include the bribe rewards.
Okay. And I'm pretty sure that someone like Beefy doesn't also, do what you guys are doing in terms of taking the bribes and redistributing them back. Do you know, is that correct?
I honestly have no idea. Sorry.
Yeah, they don't. I don't even know if they support fBEETS right now, but yeah, right now I believe it's us and Yearn does it, but they take a much larger fee. I think, but we, I think we're done before them with our implementation. So we're technically the OG, and then there's one other one that I forget that messes with fBEETS. I don't remember their name though.
Yeah, I can't remember their name either, but I think I remember reading about them. They have an interesting strategy where they'll take any bribes that they got as rewards, and then they put the rewards into the pools with like the highest voting percentages or something to, kind of try and move with like the landslide of fBEETS that are being distributed to the highest voters.
Is that Beluga?
That rings a bell.
Yeah.
Sounds like
It is Beluga.
Okay. Yeah, they're distributing the bribe rewards via a farm.
I don't
That's
remember
weird.
the details, but because I didn't like that strategy, although it kind of made somewhat sense in terms
Yeah.
of, but a lot of the, the highest reward pools have underlying tokens that, I maybe don't necessarily like for the long term.
Yeah.
So I kind of ignored it, although I thought it was an interesting strategy.
Yeah, definitely. That is certainly different, which there's always room for different. But yeah, we're kind of going you deposit your fBEETS, you're going to get the most fBEETS no matter where else you go. So I'm sure people will copy us down the road. But right now, I think we're in a pretty good, unique spot, which is why we're promoting it so much. This is kind of like hard alpha here. The fact that it doesn't show up in the front end either means that you people who are plugged in early on are going to get you're kind of front running the people who are just waiting to see the APY. It is there even though it's not displayed, and it is a significant boost. But yeah, good questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys, hope
yeah.
you guys are well.
Yeah, man. What's your question? Go ahead.
Yeah, so my question is regarding your cryptic tweet, tess3rac7 or Tess. Please, can you comment on that?
Wait, he's gone. He just left.
This is grade A ducking.
That was purely
Peace out.
Purely an accident.
Excellent.
Yeah, so we were brainstorming what we can do in this new era of fBEETS that's upon us very soon. And it seems that we have a plan, and I was really excited about it. So sometimes I have trouble keeping things to myself, as you can tell. So yeah, that's pretty much all I'll say on that. But like we obviously want to keep all of you all in the loop, and there will definitely be more information about this coming soon as we go from like proof of concept to like somewhat working prototype to like a really good solution, and there'll be more to come to share, and also to get everyone's input. So it is going to be something a bit novel, something that I personally haven't seen before, or maybe like not at the scale that we hope to do it at. So again, who knows, right? Like how it would turn out, but we're really excited, we're really hopeful, and we're hoping to share more on that very soon and get you all really excited and get everyone's thoughts on that as well. So I hope that's a good answer.
Okay. No, so it's just a confirmation of what I had in mind
Yeah.
about converting vote lock beats into a liquid form and using it as a receipt. So that was just a confirmation that I wanted, as if I know I'm not searching for, let's say, the contract details and the specifications of how you're going to, let's say, achieve said liquidity or said liquid position, and how you're going to maintain, let's say, peg and do all these kind of stuff. It's just a matter of if you are pursuing it or not.
Yeah. So we are definitely pursuing something, and you mentioned a lot of terms and ideas, and I won't confirm or deny any of those, but
No worries.
we're definitely
No worries. Message received.
yes, sir.
And hopefully to the best rapper wins. And I'm confident in who the best ones are.
By Masons are the greatest rappers on the planet.
Dude, I will
No,
spit some bars right now if you know.
go ahead, man. We also have some good rappers on our end.
Dude, we did a rap battle with the Lost Kingdoms a few weeks back, so we're
Okay.
ready to go.
Are you with any
We'll set one out.
particular group, Ham?
I am
You mentioned
with my
already.
bags.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah, me too. I think
Is
all of us are.
that a fair answer, Mr. UST lover?
That is a fair answer.
It's USD Maxi,
No.
actually.
UST Maxi.
Wonderful.
Thank you guys for having us, and Justin, excellent platform, excellent team members, and thank you guys for bringing me on, and good luck with what you're building, guys.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for coming, and thanks for the kind words.
Thank you
No
so
worries,
much,
man.
man.
No worries. Thank you guys for actually having me. Thank you guys. Take care.
Of course. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
It's
All right, Clown Punch, you want to go?
Yeah. You guys hear me?
Yep.
All right, thank you. I just got two quick questions. For security, on all your crypts, how serious do you guys take security of the crypts?
Well, you wanna give your opinion on that, Tess?
Yeah.
I give mine plenty.
So a lot of our development is focused around making code battle tested and tried and true, and reusing things that we know have passed the test of time, so to speak. So to be a little technical with you, we have like a very robust suite of base contracts that have like a rigorous unit test suite, contain a lot of reused code that many people before us, like say Yearn and some other big players in this industry have reused and reused. So as much as possible, we try to minimize the surface area for bugs, for security vulnerabilities, and things like that. And before we push something out, we follow very rigorous through like some security focused programs. Who do in typical user scenarios like depositing, withdrawing half, depositing that half again, and things like that. But also like risk case scenario, we prioritize it above, I would say, all else. Like, I work with a team and I will get on their backs if they try to skip any of these steps just because we want to push something out fast or something is hot right now and we want to move quick, right? Like, we want to make sure that all these steps are done thoroughly for each thing that we put out. So, very seriously is the short answer.
Right,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then
Definitely.
one other question real quick is once BEETS starts locking the fBEETS, will the Reaper crypt fBEETS stay 100% liquid?
We'll just say we're trying to make them as liquid as possible.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
There
hard
are
to
that makes
make
sense.
like a lot of technical barriers, but we have the same. Just remember that we're users just like you, so we have all the same desires. So we just want the absolute best user experience, and we're putting in the time and effort it takes to deliver that. And basically it's like us versus technical possibility. Like we're gonna try our best, and if something ends up being impossible in a technical sense, then we'll just take the second best route and keep hammering our heads against the problem. But yeah, we would like them to be as liquid as possible, and that's where most of our research and development
I
with
can
fBEETS is going.
promise you that it would be the best that it can be given the constraints of the underlying platform. So I don't
Okay,
Oh
so
yeah.
like
much more.
try to be the highest APR, APY, and liquid in a sense.
That's the dream, right? Yeah.
Yeah, find the ultimate intersection
Yeah.
of like APY and liquidity, and find what users are most attracted to, and that's kind of part of finding product market fit. And I feel like enough work has been done in the world of you know vesting assets and making vested assets liquid, with the YVCRV and things like that, that it's pretty well understood what users want, being as liquid as possible without sacrificing too much interest. But we're well on the path to finding a really great medium there, and I think everyone will be pleased with the end result, whatever it ends up being. But there are options, and Tess is really good about finding the best one.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right, Jesse, you want to go?
Oh, hey guys. Thank you for building this thing, whatever it's going to be. I'm very excited for it. I had a question about voting on other proposals besides just the bribes. Do you think we'll be able to use the power of the crypt to vote on other governance proposals on BEETS?
Justin, you want
me to take that? Yeah, sure.
to?
We had touched on this earlier, Jesse. So that's 12 lashings. But
That's
really
the
kind
second
of
question I asked. That was already asked. Sorry.
what that's okay. I'm just kidding. What we're interested in most is preserving objectivity here, and ensuring that anything that happens is in the best interest of the users. And what this introduces, or what voting for proposals that aren't purely profit driven introduces, is opinion. And with that, kind of getting a gestalt of the investor's sentiment and figuring out what it is exactly they want, is a problem that we are going to try to tackle. But it's definitely going to be a little bit further down the line, because it will probably require some sort of voting mechanism, or some level of